You used to feel everything, every shift in tone, every unspoken tension, every subtle change in someone's mood. And now you don't. It's like something inside you went quiet. You're not overwhelmed anymore, but you're not fully connected either. You feel neutral, distant, maybe even blank, and a private thought keeps whispering, "What's wrong with me?" By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why your feelings suddenly went offline, why this isn't a failure of your empathy, and what your nervous system is actually doing to protect you. You'll also have a clear sentence you can use the next time someone tries to pull you back into emotional over-responsibility before you're ready. Because here's the first truth we need to open. You didn't stop feeling because you don't care. You stopped feeling because you cared for too long without enough protection. And here's the second truth we'll come back to. This numbness is not the end of your empathy. It's the pause that preserves it. Empaths don't suddenly become cold. They become overloaded. It happens quietly, not in one dramatic moment, but in small repeated ones. The time you stayed calm while someone blamed you unfairly, the time you absorbed someone's anxiety, even though you were exhausted, the time you said, "It's okay," when your body was already tight. Your nervous system kept saying yes long after your body meant no. And when that happens long enough, the system adapts. Think about what happens when you touch something too hot. Your hand pulls back automatically. You don't debate it. You don't apologize to the stove. Protection just happens. Emotional protection works the same way. When your nervous system realizes that feeling everything is no longer safe, it reduces sensation. It turns down the volume. It creates space, not to punish you, to preserve you. And here's the part no one tells you. Numbness is not the absence of emotion. It's the presence of protection. You might notice it in subtle ways. Someone gets upset, and instead of instantly absorbing it, you feel neutral. Someone pulls away, and instead of panic, you feel distance. Someone tries to guilt you, and instead of collapsing, you feel nothing. And that nothing can feel scary, because your identity has been built around being the one who feels deeply, the soft one, the understanding one. So when your emotions go quiet, you don't feel empowered. You feel lost. You start asking yourself, am I becoming selfish? Am I becoming detached? Am I losing my empathy? But here's the reframe that changes everything. You're not losing your empathy. You're losing your automatic self-abandonment. Empathy says, I can feel with you. Self-abandonment says, I must carry you. One is connection. The other is survival. And survival mode is exhausting. Let me slow this down even more. For a long time, your nervous system equated other people's emotions with responsibility. If someone was disappointed, your body felt it as danger. If someone was distant, your body felt it as rejection. If someone was upset, your body felt it as something you had to fix. So you scanned, adjusted, soothed, and absorbed. That constant scanning keeps your system on alert. It looks calm from the outside, but inside it's hypervigilant. And hypervigilance cannot run forever. Eventually, your system chooses the only sustainable option left. It stops opening so quickly. It creates emotional distance so you can finally breathe. And here's the part that may surprise you. That distance can actually be healthy. Let me ask you something gently. When you used to feel everything, were you actually at peace? Or were you constantly managing invisible tension in your chest? When you absorbed everyone's emotions, did you feel connected? Or did you feel responsible? When you kept saying yes to maintain harmony, did you feel safe? Or did you feel quietly resentful later? And when you imagine going back to that version of yourself, does it feel light? Or does it feel heavy? Just notice your body as you hear those questions. Your nervous system is not trying to turn you into someone cold. It's trying to return you to balance. Here's what's really happening. For the first time, there is a pause between someone else's emotion and your reaction. Before there was no pause, just immediate merging. Now there is space. And inside that space is your choice. Instead of automatically stepping in, you can observe. Instead of absorbing, you can listen without taking it on. That doesn't mean you don't care. It means you are no longer fusing empathy with fear. And that shift can feel unfamiliar. It can even feel wrong at first. But unfamiliar does not mean unhealthy. The next time someone tries to place emotional weight on you and you feel that new quiet inside, instead of panicking, you can say calmly, I care about you and I need some time before I respond. Notice how that holds connection without self-abandonment. You're not rejecting them, you're regulating yourself. And if your body feels uneasy saying that, that's not proof you're doing harm. It's proof you're breaking an old survival pattern. We're going to talk about exactly why this numbness appeared now and how to gently reconnect with your feelings without overwhelming yourself again. Because this quiet inside you is not emptiness. It's your nervous system finally stepping out of constant overdrive. And that is where real healing begins. What makes this moment confusing is that numbness doesn't feel like strength at first. It feels like absence. You might find yourself in conversations where you know the old you would have leaned in immediately, would have offered comfort, would have taken responsibility for making everything okay. But now there's hesitation. There's space. And in that space, you might hear a quiet voice asking, is it still my job to carry this? That question alone can feel unfamiliar. Because for most of your life, the answer was automatically yes. Your nervous system learned that staying connected meant staying responsible. But responsibility and connection are not the same thing. And here's the part no one tells you. When your nervous system stops reacting, automatically, it's giving you the chance to choose connection instead of performing it. Listen closely to this small but important shift. Before, your empathy was reflexive. Now it can become intentional. Reflexive empathy ignores you. Intentional empathy includes you. And that difference changes everything. Because when empathy includes you, you are no longer abandoning yourself to maintain closeness. You are standing G inside yourself while remaining open to others. That's what real emotional safety feels like. It doesn't feel urgent. It doesn't feel heavy. It feels steady. But your body needs time to trust this steadiness because urgency was what it knew best. This is where a simple reset can help you reconnect to yourself without forcing emotions to return too quickly. The next time you notice numbness or guilt or pressure to respond in the old way, pause. Gently inhale through your nose for 4 seconds, not deeply, just enough to signal attention. Then exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 seconds. As you exhale, press your feet lightly into the ground or wherever they're resting. Let your body feel the support underneath you. And quietly say to yourself, I am allowed to stay with myself. That's it. Breath, pressure, and that inner sentence. This tells your nervous system that connection does not require self-abandonment. It teaches your body that you are safe even when you don't immediately merge with someone else's emotional state. And over time, this simple practice rebuilds trust between you and yourself. Now imagine this moment. Someone you care about comes to you upset, overwhelmed, wanting the version of you who used to observe everything instantly. Your body might feel that old pull. But now you pause, and instead of collapsing into responsibility, you stay present inside yourself. And you say, I care about you, and I don't have the capacity to hold this right now. Notice what happens inside your chest when you hear that. There may be discomfort, there may be fear, but there is also relief. Because for the first time, you are telling the truth. And truth is what regulates your nervous system, even when it feels unfamiliar at first. Here's another moment that matters. Sometimes the numbness isn't just about others. Sometimes it appears when you finally stop abandoning yourself. When your system realizes it doesn't have to stay on constant alert, it rests. And rest can feel like emptiness when you've lived in overdrive for so long. But emptiness is often the space where your real emotions begin to return safely. Not all at once, not intensely. Gradually, gently, in a way that doesn't overwhelm you. This is how healing actually works, not by forcing yourself to feel more, but by creating safety. So feeling can return on its own. There may also be people who notice the change in you. They may say you become distant. They may say you've changed, and in some ways they're right, you have changed. You are no longer automatically abandoning yourself to maintain connection. And that shift can disrupt dynamics that depended on your overgiving. This is where another simple sentence can support you. You can say, I'm still here, but I'm learning to take care of myself too. That sentence doesn't attack, it doesn't defend, it simply tells the truth. And truth creates clarity, both inside you and around you. What's important to understand is that numbness is not permanent. It is protective. It appears when your system needs distance to recalibrate. And as you continue choosing honesty, choosing pause, choosing self-connection, your emotional range begins to return. But this time, it returns without the same urgency, without the same fear, without the same self-loss. You will still feel deeply, but you will no longer feel responsible for everything. You will still care, but you will no longer disappear inside that care. This is the transition from survival empathy to regulated empathy. Survival empathy says, I must feel everything to stay connected. Regulated empathy says, I can feel and still remain with myself. And when you reach that place, something surprising happens. You stop fearing disconnection because you are no longer disconnected from yourself. And that inner connection becomes your foundation. So if you feel numb right now, don't rush to fix it. Don't force yourself back into old patterns just to prove you still care. Let this be the space where your nervous system learns the new truth, that you can stay open without losing yourself, that you can stay kind without abandoning yourself, that you can stay connected without betraying yourself. This quiet inside you is not the end of who you are. It is the beginning of a version of you who finally feels safe. And in the next video, we'll talk about why empaths often feel guilt when they start choosing themselves and how to release that guilt without losing your compassion